This combo feels like an unfair advantage for builders, since it allows us to build entire apps just by prompting, but cheaper than usual. If you haven't heard of Cline, it's a VS Code extension that allows you to use an LLM of your choice, at which can then modify or generate code at your command. And the other side is DeepSeek V3, which is currently ranking as the 7th best LLM, but way cheaper than the other ones. Combining these two potentially allows us to build cheap yet good apps. Along this video, I create a simple Python automation for less than a cent of a dollar. I'll explain how to set this up really quick, and then we'll test it together to see if it's really worth it. But just to make myself clear, by no means am I saying this is the best way to create your app using AI. Even after testing it out, I think using Cursor's $20 plan is still better, though this is an alternative to pay only what you actually use. There are concerns about DeepSeek being a Chinese LLM. I just think the same concerns should apply while using any LLMs. So be careful, especially with user data. You should start by setting up your DeepSeek platform, but this is pretty easy and you can register just by using your Google account. Then as soon as you're logged in, you'll want to come over to the top up page, on which you can select the amount of dollars to insert. Be aware of the tax. So if you're selecting like something around 500, you'll be taxed about $30. As soon as you're done with that, come over to the API keys, hit create new API key, register your API key. So just test, then create API key. This would be the API key. Now head over to your VS Code extensions. You'll just want to type Cline up here. I already installed it, so it's already working for me. As soon as you install it, you'll see this icon down here. Just click on it, then hit settings, and you'll be directed to this page. In this page, it's pretty simple. Choose DeepSeek as the API provider, place in your DeepSeek API key that we just got, and you're all set. Now let's build an actual tool. I'm going to build an entire AI tools website for builders just like ourselves, and I need to record the entire process so that I can show it to you here in the channel. If you're a subscriber, of course, but I bet you are. Since some parts of the video will be a time lapse, I can take screenshots of my screen every 10 seconds and also a picture through the webcam. I do procrastinate at times and don't really want to delete each image that has me watching David Goggins while doing push-ups in the back. So I basically need a script that runs every 10 seconds, identifies if the active window is VS Code or the localhost tab in Chrome, and if yes, then take the screenshot plus a picture and save it in a local folder. All I did in this project till now is start the virtual environment. You don't really need to do this, but it's just a better approach instead of just installing the packages inside of your machine. So let's clear that out and let's start using Cline. So since I want to see Cline with my file explorer, I'll just drag it up here and then drag it down here. Now I can type everything in Cline and still see my files. Now I just have these notes here, which I'll drag over to my second monitor and I'll be able to look at it while I type my prompt. Ideally, I would use another LLM to correct my prompt, but since I really just want to build it using Cline and using like what I would prompt if I had no other LLM. So yeah, let's run that and see what happens. Nice, so it's installing Pillow. Okay, checked that. Now it seems to be coding everything. Okay, so it seems like it ran the command also, but it got out of my virtual environment. That wasn't cool. So the problem here is probably because VS Code doesn't have like VS Code written like this. So let's just give it a different mission. So all I said was every time the code loops, you should log the current active Windows title. It's pretty interesting because it asks to read like specific files. It doesn't just presume it to read anything, and that just makes it feel safer. This was like the stupidest thing ever. And since the purpose is to Cline plus DeepSeek to build this entirely, then I don't want to change a single line. So executing this, I get, okay, this is the current window. You guys probably didn't see some of this stuff because my enormous head is in front of things. So if I go over to Chrome and wait for it to detect the active window, I'll do just one change in the file. Please don't think I'm cheating. I just want to change this to Google Chrome, and this will be changed to Visual Studio Code. Okay, I think that this way, we can test it. Okay, so it does identify the window, and the only problem is that it gives this warning. And maybe when it tries to do the video capture, it bugs because I'm currently using the webcam. So I'll just pause this and pause the recording for a while to see if that's what's bugging it. Yeah, that was the exact problem. Here are the screenshots it took. So first is a screenshot of my first screen, then my picture. I'm really curious thinking, did this work? And then again, then me looking at the code. Now in this specific case, I showed how it can automate typing in things in your terminal or creating files and just coding it or reviewing the code. But it just produced a single file, and that's not really ideal. I could just produce this inside of Claude or ChatGPT and then import it back here. The thing is working with like structures, and that's something that is optimal also in Cursor. And also I noticed a problem here because every time I start this code, it'll start the counter at 1, and then it'll just go and replace every single screenshot I had previously. So that's an issue because I don't want it erasing all of my previous images. And I'll also insert this in the next prompt so this is corrected. Okay, so these are the instructions. Let's hit enter. Now let him cook. And now it renamed the file to main.py. Nice, okay. So main.py is now just this, functions is this. Let's see if this works. But before I check that, let me comment this out. After 10 seconds, let's wait. It should appear like capture 006, nice. So I did make it execute all these 3 times, and all these 3 times executed summed together isn't even 1 cent of a dollar, so that's pretty nice. That is it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then.